Hello, my friends. My name is Besim Ogelman. I am an industrial psychologist and human resources specialist. Today, we'll be discussing an entrepreneurial opportunities in food waste and sustainability model. The subtopic we will be discussing today is identify business opportunities in food waste management by analyzing market trends, customer needs, and technological advancements. Let's get started quickly. First, let's take a general overview on our topic. This course model offers a deep dive into a paradigm shift transforming food waste from an environmental burden into a lucrative asset class. Based on the principle of the circular economy and the EU Green Deal, the course analyzes the global food waste crisis through an entrepreneurial lens. It moves beyond traditional waste disposal methods to explore waste-to-value technologies such as an AI-driven kitchen analytics, insect biotechnology, and biogas production, and etc. Our learning outcome is analyze the economic scale of global food waste and identify high potential market segments. Identify specific financial levers in Turkey, high potential market segments. Examining the commercial application of technologies like iod waste tracking, insect protein production, and anaerobic digestion. And critique successful business models such as Fazla and Otan Studio, and formulate a strategic roadmap for accessing funding sources. We haven't gathered here today just to talk about garbage. If that were the case, I would be standing before you as a sanitation worker. But I am here as an industrial psychologist and an entrepreneurship trainer. My job is to see potential. Today, we are putting the largest invisible resources of the economy on the table. Our slogan is clear. Waste is simply a raw material whose identity hasn't yet been found. Think about the philosophy in this sentence. As a psychologist, I can say that by sticking the label waste on the substance, we have developed in it our minds. However, with the paradigm shift we will realize today, we will transform this unwanted child into the most profitable entrepreneurial opportunities. In this presentation, I will appeal not only to your conscience, but also to your wallet and strategic intelligence. If you're ready, let's start the journey of issuing passports to our identify less raw materials. Numbers don't lie, but sometimes they hurt. 1/3 of the food produced in the world, 1.5 billion tons, is wasted. This is not just a matter of pity. It's a monument of the massive inefficiency. As an entrepreneurship trainer, let me tell you this. Wherever there's insufficiency, there's a pile of money waiting for a solution. The food waste management market will reach 128 billion by year 2033. This used to be as shallow as let the municipality collect the trash. Now we are moving to the waste to value model. This transformation turns an environmental disaster responsible for 8 or 10% of greenhouse gas emission into economic level. If you are an entrepreneur and can't smell at $128 billion market, you might have a chronic blockage in your nose. The opportunity here is not a logistic problem, but the construction of an industrial market. Let's break some taboos. We always blame the factories and big supermarket chains, don't we? We say they've thrown it away, we are innocent. But the data says the biggest sinner is the household with a 60 share. We sent 79.93 kilograms of food to the trash per person annually. Incredible. Here, customer needs are divided into two. On the B2C side, the consumer at home has a thirst for guilt reduction and budget management. We must sell them smart solution. On the B2B side, in the HoReCa and retail sectors, HoReCa means hotel, restaurant, and cafe. HoReCa and retail sectors, the situation is more aggressive. In an environment with such high inflation, every tomato peel means a penny stolen from the profit margin. Supply chain losses in Turkey are over 20%. Do you know what this means? One of our every 5 trucks leaving the field never actually existed. This strategic gap is the goose that lies the golden eggs for those developing cold chain and logistic technologies. As you see, HoReCa, hotels, restaurant, and cafe. This B2B part is very important, and of course, household. Many business people complain, is there a new regulation again? I say, hooray, a new market is being born. The farm to fork strategy under the EU grain deal is no longer a wish, but a necessity with a binding 30% reduction target by year 2030. If you export to Europe, you have to comply with these rules. Regulation in Turkey, like the zero waste regulation and GECAP, tell those who don't separate waste at the source. We will tear a piece from your wallet. The polluter pays principle creates a ready, hungry, and legally compelled corporate customer base for startups that reduce waste at the source. Regulation is not a hurdle here. It's a catalyst that defines the market boundaries and explodes demand. I'll tell you a secret here, but please keep it between us. Just kidding. Tell everyone, of course. This is our aim. Turkey has one of the most generous tax incentives in the world, but most businesses are unaware of it. Donations made within the scope of food banking can be deducted from the corporate tax base within a 100% tax advantage. They are also exempt from VAT. Now, think you have a ton of products nearing their expiry date. Do you pay for logistic and storage to dispose of them, or do you donate them and deduct them from taxes? Donating is financially more profitable. As an entrepreneur, if you go to a company's finance manager and say, let's do social responsibility, they'll show you the door. But if you tell them tax planning, they'll buy you a coffee. The business opportunity here is building this logistical and digital bridge. That's exactly what Fazla Gıda does, making kindness profitable. You cannot manage what you don't measure. This is the golden rule for management science. Every time kitchen staff says, let's throw a little bit of that into, money is actually going into the trash. This is where EOT and I come in. Smart scale systems identify whether the discarded product is broccoli or steak with their cameras, calculate the cost down to the penny, and report it to the chief. The ROI of the systems like Vino and LeanPath is so high that they can save 1.1 million annually in dollar in 1,000 store chain. In Turkey, rising food inflation has turned these technologies from a luxury into a survival tool. A cheap hand measure is good, but eyes data measure is much more profitable. With smart scale systems, we are not establishing a digital dictatorship in the kitchen, but a democracy of efficiency. The next topic is a bit wiggly, black soldier fly, BSFL, larvae. Don't be grossed out. These larvae are actually tiny recycling machines. They eat organic waste and transform themselves into a high-quality circular protein source. From 1 ton of waste, you get 30 kilograms of insect meal. This meal is a miraculous ingredient for fish feed, poultry feed, and especially the booming pet food sector. Legislation in Turkey is still a bit shy on this matter, so there is a gray area. However, the export potential is massive. Producing protein from our own waste instead of importing, say, is just a business model. It's a matter of national security. Give insects a chance. They don't just buzz. They turn your waste into money for you. If you can turn waste into a food of protein, burn it. But not just any way. Do it by producing methane gas and organic fertilizer through anaerobic digestion. In Turkey, there is a solid yekdem mechanism behind this. It offers currency indexed purchase guarantees with price escalation. Also, with the 2025 calls under IPART 3, grant support of 60-75% is coming. Do you have a farm? You can produce your own electricity from your waste and become a prosumer. Building a biogas plant is not cheap, $3-4 million per megawatt. But with the government's purchase guarantee and gate freeze, this investment became the financial fortress. In short, trash can give you a shock, but this time it will please your wallet. Look at how to grow from theory to practice. The Fazla Gıda example. They didn't just make an app. They built an ecosystem. They make the surplus product from the retailer. If it's edible, they sell it through the secondary sales channel, Fazla Market. If not, they donate it for tax advantage. If that's still not an option, they direct it to the biogas or animal feed. This is a SaaS plus service model. They don't tell companies, let us manage your waste. They say, let us make your money and save the world. This holistic approach gave birth to one of Turkey's brightest startups. The problem is not always technology, it's operational intelligence. What if waste was a chair or a lamp? Otan Studio does exactly that. They take orange peels, nut shields, and fallen leaves and turn them into stylish design products. We call this upcycling. How much is the raw material cost? Zero. Or sometimes they pay you to take the waste, negative cost. What is the sale price? Very high because it's a design product. This is economy of creativity. Instead of burning what we call green waste, we turn it into a work of art for the most beautiful corner in your home. As an industrial psychologist, I say people don't just buy a lamp, they buy a story and an environmental stance. I'm here for those who say, my idea is great, but I have no money. There are plenty of resources as long as you knock on the right door. The EU Horizon Europe program gives millions of euros in grants to household waste management projects. IPART 3 provides up 500,000 euros in grants at 75%. In Turkey, TÜBİTAK 1512 and 1832 are waiting for green transformation-oriented projects. If you are a startup, impact investment funds like Founder One or Simya VC say, as long as you have a model that will change the world, money is no longer just chasing profit. it is chasing impact. We have reached the end. Now it's time for action. As a consultant, I offer you a 4-point action plan. 1. Data-driven. Leave your institution at the door. Measure waste with IRAD and I. Leverage legislation. Put zero waste regulation and tax incentives at the heart of your finance. Waste management is not charity, it is tax planning. Hybrid models. Software alone is not enough. Build SaaS and plus service models that offer operational solutions. Lobbying. Unit and demand to clarify the gray areas in legislation, like insect protein. Final word. Food waste, when processed correctly, is not an environmental burden but an economic treasure. Turkey has the potential to become a regional hub in this regard. Define the identity of your waste today. Is it trash or is it your future? Thank you for listening.